Welcome to Everything But the Tip, the podcast that bucks the trend of the mainstream golf content being churned out by the masses. Presented by the co-founders of Smart Golf and Fitness, we're on a mission to guide golfers towards genuine improvement. No swing tips, no shortcuts, we're anti-instant gratification. Join us as we navigate the complexities of the game, offering insights on how to truly excel in golf by embracing the challenges and breaking free from the usual quick fix mentality.
And we're back again, folks. And I'm a little curious to see how tonight's episode goes, as it's a little bit off the beaten path. You know, we've tried to, at this point, be tactful, and the information that we've been trying to communicate and be educational in nature. And hang on one second. I would like to turn up my volume in my headphones. Oh, all right, much better. Don't think that makes a difference for you guys listening, but I needed to do that. But I'm actually going to hand it over here to Tommy to kind of inform our listeners to what we've decided to discuss tonight. So, I'm going to hand it over to you, Tommy. Hello, Tommy.
Oh, sorry. I'm just super stoked. I'm glad we're not doing any major deep diving tonight or any unpacking, because I've got to pack up my outfits for the next few days, because you know what tonight is? Eagle Days Eve. That's right. So I'm excited to just do a little preview show. Like you said, just a quick shot here. We played in Eagle Days last year for the first time. For those that don't know, Eagle Days is probably one of the most challenging member guests from duration standpoint. So a lot of traditional member guests are 5 9-hole matches over the course of 2-3 days if you include the practice round. The reason the eve is tonight is tomorrow starts the practice round, and it's 7 9-hole matches. So 3 days of competition, 7 9-hole matches.
How many flights?
There are 15 flights, 8 teams per flight, so that's how you get your 7 matches. You play every team in your flight once, and then
That puts total participation at what?
240 players.
Damn.
Yeah, so I'm pretty stoked. This is our second year playing together. This is my 4th year playing Eagle Days. I played as a guest several years ago before joining the club, but I'm excited because I think we had a pretty good showing last year in the championship flight, which will be another challenging flight for us. But I'm excited for the challenge.
Yeah, no, right there with you. This is an event that we were on the waiting list, I believe, for a year or two. Yeah. So pretty stoked last year when we learned that we were going to be able to participate in it. And I've played in member guests in the past, one-dayers. I'm not sure if I had done a multi-day. I think I did one. I did one multi-day, but nothing of this nature. The truth is, this member guest is actually 4 days if you decide to participate in the practice round. But shoot, registration starts early in the morning. They're feeding you already. Everything you paid for to be able to participate in the event, they're going all out, even on that practice round. It's for anyone that hasn't played in a member guest, number one, if you ever do get invited or have the opportunity, you got to play in it, especially if you care about competition at all. Don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, it's about to go hang out with your host or your guest, depending on what side of the equation you're on, have some drinks, enjoy the camaraderie. But if anyone were to tell you that a member guest is just as competitive as it could be at an amateur level, well, they've never played in one, and they sure as hell have not played in Eagle Days. So I'm pumped. I know I'm going to be extremely anxious. The first hole, I cannot help but not get that out of my head. It's water completely along the left side, even though I try to play a fade, but it does force me to aim a little bit at it. And a big bunker on the right, which you'd prefer not to be in. So, but Tommy, I'm right there with you. We had an amazing time last year, and I think we had a good showing. I think you're about to get here. Tommy comes in at, what is your handicap now?
My index is 9.9. So,
do you know what you were last year?
I was over that. I was probably in the 11 range, so I was only 4 months removed from having my hip replaced, so not even certain that I was going to be able to handle 7 9-hole matches over the course of 3 days. Last year, the practice round got rained out. Looks like that could be the case tomorrow, but we'll see. Great pivot by the guys at White Eagle to contact their friends over at Mistwood, and we got to utilize the dome. So I just kind of limited the amount of shots that I hit in the dome, so that was certainly helpful. 100% healthy this year. I played in a member guest a couple weeks ago with my brother at LACC. That's right, at LACC. That's the Little Apple Country Club in Manhattan, Kansas. So that was a good little warm-up event, but that was more traditional in nature. We played a practice round on Thursday, 3 9-hole matches on Friday, 2 on Saturday, followed by a horse race. So we did okay on that, but that was a good test to see where I was at, both from a endurance standpoint and a game standpoint from a competition. And then coming off this week of vacation, I feel completely rejuvened. I had played a couple of 18s and 27 holes on Sunday, so body's feeling good. That won't be an issue. It's just a matter of getting out there and getting the job done. But 7-1 is my 12-month low. That's kind of how the handicap system works. You have to play at your 12-month low in this particular event.
Oh, did you come in as a 7.1 then?
This year.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So 4.9, because I know you can only be, 7 strokes
it's
away
8
from your playing partner?
strokes.
8 strokes.
So, how they figure out our handicaps, you're a plus 1.7. You're giving 2 strokes in most matches, so that allows me only to get 6 strokes per 9 hole, depending on who we're playing against. So, but my index for the event is 4.9. So we've got guys in our flight that are plus 1.7. My partner here, he's the best guy from a handicap standpoint in the flight and player as well. I won't be afraid to mention that out there. And then we've got guys that are as high as 6.5. So there's a couple other guys on the list that took a little bit of a haircut as well on their handicap. So
before we go any further, I do want you to answer, why did you want to discuss this today, and why did we want to offer this type of content in one of our episodes as we continue on, producing content through our podcast?
I think, when we did the Founders episode, people got to know us a little bit more about our journey and where we came from. And I talked a little bit about, my journey with golf and my game, how I can really relate to a lot of our listeners that are 18, 20 handicappers, because I was there. I didn't really play much competitive golf growing up, played for the high school team for 1 year. Other than that, scramble events. And then I started to play in some member guests and got to know what that competition was like. Now we've got our Smart Cup. So I love these things. I thrive on them. So I think just, provide a little preview there. That way, there's a little teaser. So we'll come back and record another episode and let people know how we do. So, but ultimately just to talk a little bit about member guests, talk about, what we're excited about to help people get to know us a little bit more. And then, ultimately we'll have to, tell people our scores and see how we did. If we're DFL or if we're hoisting some some hardware at the end of the weekend, we got to come in and talk about it.
No, I like that. Obviously the original intent when we decided to launch this podcast was to, allow a little bit more of an insight to what smart golf and fitness instruction is, who we are, how we've gotten to where we're at today, and then ultimately what we're doing that really separates ourselves. The longer you do this, the more episodes you produce. It's not like we're Joe Rogan by any stretch of the imagination with the following that we do have, but you start to get guys that follow you. They let you know that they follow you. And, I think it does make sense as we continue to churn out more episodes that, let's put a little personal touch to it. It doesn't always have to be educational. It's not that this will be our main type of content, but let's offer some entertainment and then a little bit of a storyline that, you guys know now we got a big tournament coming up, and Tommy and I would be not telling the truth if we didn't have a goal in mind and felt that we were fully capable of winning our flight. Horse race, whole nother story, a little bit of luck involved in there. I mean, probably luck involved in every flight as well, because you don't know if, when one team, might lay an egg in a match, right, which then gives, that other team a full advantage, or vice versa. A lot of things can happen.
Right. So basically, just so everybody knows, pretty common across member guests, but if they're not familiar, every match is an opportunity to score points. So you get a point if you win a hole, you get a half a point if you have the hole, you get 0 points if you lose the hole. You get 1 additional point if you win the match. So it's crucial to win the match, because when it comes down to those tiebreakers for the flight winners, head-to-head is the first tiebreaker there. So if you've lost to anybody and you're tied at the end of all 7 of those matches, that team's moving on and you're not. 7 points is the maximum you can get within a match. Like you said, if you're giving away free points, you don't control your own destiny unless you beat every team in your flight handily. And I've never seen that happen in any of my experiences there. So you need to go out there, handle your own business. If you can tie or win all of your matches, you give yourself a pretty good opportunity to win your flight and move on to that horse race, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But like every other team in there is fighting, and they're playing hard for every single point. I would
imagine there's a trend in the championship flight that it's pretty close throughout the entire event, right? You know, you start to see, I remember last year, some of the other flights, there was teams running away with it halfway through day 2.
Sure.
Right.
So, I mean, all the flights are organized by combined handicap. So, like, the combined team handicap in our flight is 0 at the top. You know, the bottom of our flight is 6.5. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom here, let's call it flight 15, we're looking at combined handicaps for these guys from 30.8 all the way up to 48.7. So
Holy
there's some
smokes.
huge volatility there, but they're grouped together, you know, in as close of a pattern as they can to try and eliminate some of that volatility. But those high handicappers, like we talked about on the with the episode with Kyle and stuff like that, the course rating one, those guys are going to have a harder time on the harder rated holes because it's going to penalize the bogey golfers that much more. So
Sure, and I think, you know, just illustrating the variance between how low the handicaps are in this event and how high the handicaps are in an event. One, I think just showcases, again, how awesome golf is. You can be a guy that obviously is a true amateur, shooting some pretty high scores, and be playing in the exact same tournament as a guy that can shoot under par. And realistically have arguably just as high of a percentage, shot chance at winning the event. And that's one thing that I had learned last year. I'm like, gosh, you'd think, and we can maybe even should jump to the horse race here, but you'd think that, you know, the championship flight, those guys would be the winner almost every single time. They're the best golfers out there, right? But the truth is, from what I learned, at least what you told me, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot more times than not, the winner of the entire event is not coming from the championship flight. So I wanted to mention that because I said earlier, everyone should play in a member guest. It doesn't matter your playing ability as long as you're a golfer. And you can go out there and genuinely have a true shot at coming out on top.
yeah, I mean, so there's strokes allocated throughout the matches. So depending on who you're playing against, you'll get some strokes. Depending on where you fall within that spectrum, you might be giving some strokes. And every horse race is a little bit different. So I've played in, you know, probably close to 10 member guests, and I've been involved in a couple of horse races, but I've watched 4 different formats of horse races. So I've watched a horse race where all of the flight winners start on the first hole, and now you've got, let's call it, you know, if they did it this way at White Eagle, you'd have 30 guys teeing off and playing a best ball format. Some places do alternate shot. So one guy would tee off, the next person hits that shot. I've been at one highest finish. We actually made it to the horse race. My buddy Chip and I, Chip's not in our flight this year, bummer. We had a good time at our last match of the event last year, but he's in the flight just below us there. But they took the flight winners, broke them up into 2 categories, had half of them start on one hole, half of them start on the other hole. So you played a 2-hole format, eliminating teams as you go, and the top 2 teams came to the final hole and played, and we were the top team from one side. So we got a couple hundred people watching us as we're coming home. So, and for a non-competitive golfer, you know, with not a deep pedigree, you know, that's a pretty tough thing. I've also seen just a couple weeks ago at my brother's, like I said, we were in the 7th flight, so there was 10 flights total for that one. We were in the 7th, so third to the bottom. The guys that won the entire event came out of our flight.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, we got rolled by them in a
See,
match.
perfect example.
And they came on out. That was an aggressive horse race because they played 5 additional holes, all the teams, eliminating teams as you go until you had 2 teams coming down the stretch. So every format's a little bit different for the horse race, but yeah, I mean, essentially, you want to explain what that is, or you have another question?
Yeah, I'll take my shot at what I remember. But my understanding was each flight winner, so the team that has the most points in each flight, has an opportunity to go out to from the back, a little over a 200-yard par 3, okay? What hole is that at White Eagle? Because I know it's not just 17. It's like,
number 8.
It is number 8.
Yeah,
okay.
Number 8.
So 27 holes at White Eagle. That's why I'm confused. But anyway, so y'all go out to hole number 8, and you've got championship flight. They're from the back.
Yep.
And I think last year was 205, maybe 215. Give or take.
Yep. So the tees will adjust based on the flight. So the better flights will play from the further back tees, and the players will play from.
And all the way up to how close was the closest shot?
I think probably the member tees was probably like 140.
140. Okay. So that's how they kind of try to equal the playing field. You know, you can only choose one player to hit the first shot.
Yep, it's alternate shot.
Alternate shot. So, but you do have a choice on who chooses who gets to hit first.
Correct.
Yep. Who's going to hit the first shot if we make it?
I think you should. I'm a pretty good putter. So.
Long irons I tend to be pretty strong in. So, but let's paint the picture here fully. Okay, last year when I checked it out, am I far stretched to say that there was over 200 people there?
There was at least 200 people there. There are carts all along the back of the green serving somewhat as a backboard, so you definitely should go along because there's water short.
I mean, it is the equivalent of hitting a shot on a lot of tour venues with spectators.
Correct, yeah. Wives come out, significant others, kids, all the other participants are there usually watching, cheering on.
It's a full family affair.
Yeah.
People look forward to the horse race here, and it's fully supported by the entire club. And let's face it, with an event this big, the club itself is huge. What is the size of the membership there?
We're just coming up on 325 full golf members, and then we've got our sport and social, which, we've got 27 holes, like you said before. So beautiful golf course, well-run event, pretty smooth.
Let me continue with the picture. So that's the horse race. I will say, I won't forget, even the guy from our championship flight, he plays at Butler. Give him a shout out. Was it Chris Sakella?
Sakella, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was every bit of a golfer as I am, and
we've got him match number 2.
Yeah,
on
he's
Thursday,
solid player.
They
won our flight last year. They deserve to be there, and
him and Shaw's good.
He'll admit it. He sat there, was cool, calm, and collected, but you'd have to be a brick to not to have felt anything. And what's the point of playing in an event like that if you're not feeling something?
Oh man, you want to get the juices flowing, baby.
Yeah. So what did he do? He caught it, and I played with him. The guy doesn't hit too many bad shots. He caught it a little heavy, nothing horrible, but a little heavy. And I believe he left it a little short of the green. Nothing crazy, but enough to where it's like that's a very uncharacteristic shot for him. Now, that might have been by far, I could be wrong. Did anyone actually hit the green?
Yeah, there was a few teams on the green there.
Few is a far stretch. All I remember is left, right,
Bank shot off the card.
The point is, like, you could tell people had really felt the pressure. And I hope we have that opportunity to feel it. I'm not like looking forward to it because I know I'm going to be amped. Hopefully a few drinks in, feeling good, and, but that's interesting that we bring that up because we're recording another episode here shortly about performance anxiety. And, if you're in a situation where you're not feeling any sort of anxiety about what your performance is about to be, well, I think the evidence showed with what we had saw as results after swing, after swing, after swing. And anyway, I look forward to talking a little bit more in depth here shortly about, why so many bad shots occurred when the pressure got super, super high.
Yeah, I mean, I experienced this a couple of months ago at Eaglet Days. We were fortunate enough to win our flight, Chip and I, and you picked me to hit the first shot into the screen because the second hole we were playing, it was a progressive. It was better suited for his shot, and I didn't necessarily make an awful swing. I just didn't hit the best shot that I needed to, and kind of took us out of contention right out the gate. So I'm hoping to have an opportunity to redeem myself here in the coming days.
Actually, just made me think of something. So I said, hey. Who should hit the first shot? And you immediately go, well, I'm a good putter. That's a strong assumption that I'm hitting the green from 205 in that setting.
I have faith in you.
All right. Let's just say I hit a good shot, but I'm a little bit in the rough. How you feeling about your chipping?
Well, my short game's come along a decent amount. So with 200 people around, obviously going to be a little more challenging. So I'll be looking to use the Texas wedge if at all possible, because a bad putt's always better than a bad chip. So.
If I remember correctly, a 4 gets you on. It moves you on in most cases, right?
Most cases.
Yeah.
An ace wins it.
I know. I thought about that too. I'm trying to manifest that shit. We got to get there first. Because on that same hole last year, we were playing Chip and his buddy, who were the leaders of the flight at that point, and we went out strong. I think I shot 33, but I hit it from 200 yards. I threw it straight up in the air to about a foot.
Yeah. Expect that again this year.
If we could do that, I just imagine, like, God, if we'd have won the flight in front of the crowd, could you imagine? That'd be probably that would be a core memory for sure.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. So the other thing I wanted to mention, what I thought was really cool about last year is that I think after the first hole, it made it to hole. It only went through hole 2s, and there was a winner. 2 holes. It went from
3 holes.
Really?
Yeah. It started.
They played 9 too.
Started on 8. And
I thought they went 8 and straight to number. The last hole in front of the clubhouse. I thought it was only 2 holes.
No.
Are you certain?
Not really.
I'm
a little foggy
almost
at that
positive
point.
it's 2 holes. But the point, whether it was 2-3, doesn't matter. But it looked like there was a tradition there, right? After you win, what do you do?
Jump into the pond.
Yeah,
It's
pretty
not
cool.
real deep, though.
Yeah.
So you want to tread lightly. So.
And then it's just an old fairy tale, or what would you ever call it? It's about the swimmer's itch. Is that real?
Well, it was up north last weekend, and it normally happens when it's like really hot out and the water's kind of stagnant.
Katie
But it
got
was,
some, yeah.
but it was pretty chilly up there. It's more about just getting yourself towel dried off as soon after the fact. Not that I'm a professional, but kids did have some swimmer's itch last week, so.
Okay. Well, I think, if there's more you want to say, I was just going to say, there you have it. We have a big event that's coming up. We're super excited. We wanted to share it with our audience and our listeners. We wanted to give you a precursor to it. Of course, there's going to be a follow-up episode to this, assuming we win. We still going to do it if we don't?
I think we just do a little analysis of our flight real quick here. We got a little bit of time.
I
here.
love that.
So, like we said before, we played Eric and his partner Todd last year. We had a decent match on the Blue 9 there. Got the Kwok brothers. So, James lives out in
Formidable
California.
opponents.
Yeah, James lives out in California, and Justin's a great dude at the club. We already talked about Todd and Sakella. They'll be tough. All the guys in this flight will be tough, top to bottom. Our first match tomorrow is against Andy Hill. He was not in our flight last year, but he was in my flight a few weeks ago at Eaglet Days. Solid dude, solid player. So look forward to meeting his partner David and playing with Andy again. Ron and his son JD, great dudes and JD's a great player as well. And Ron can put together some nice little 9-hole rounds, so he'll be scary. We got Woody and Kevin Highland from PGA headquarters. So he invited us down to Frisco to check out that golf course. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But,
Wait, what was his name?
Highland, Kevin, remember? They did an article on us.
Oh,
in PGA
he's
the other
back.
day. Yeah,
Got
he's
it.
back.
Okay, yeah.
So we got to go down and we'll reconnect with him and get another invite to Frisco and hopefully take him up on it this year. And then we've got John Quirk and Dave Erickson. They're new to the flight this year. So a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar names, a lot of good players. 2 new team additions. Chip and JD are down in the Nicholas flight, which is the second flight there. They're the best
Is
team
that
there.
the same team that was in the championship flight?
What's that?
Chip and JD.
Yeah.
They were partners.
Yeah.
So they were in the championship flight last year.
Yep.
And now they're in this flight. All right, what are their indexes now?
Well, they're 0.6 away from being in our flight. So Chip's coming in as a 4.4, JD's a 2.7. So they're the best team handicap-wise in that Nicholas flight.
So is there betting on teams?
There is. There's the parimutuel betting on Thursday.
All right, well, I know where I want my money.
Okay. Some courses have what's called a Calcutta auction. There's not one at White Eagle, partially because it's illegal. But I've seen some Calcutta auctions get upwards of $80,000-$100,000, so it gets a little ridiculous. But parimutuel betting is just picking some teams from each flight that you think have an opportunity to win, place, or show. You can bet on them winning, taking second, or show. You can put whatever dollar amount you want there, and then get that.
Is there return on choosing flight winners?
Yes, there is. There's day one money or day one point money. There's flight winners. So as a team, you can win money and prizes each time. But if you bet on the proper teams, you can have a little bit of financial return as well. So.
All right. Well, I feel pretty good about one team in particular.
Yeah, and we're missing. Who are we missing from last year? Taser, where you at?
Oh, yeah, JT.
JT didn't come back. We must have scared him off with our PAF hats.
Apparently, we thought we had a good time. Thought had a long-term relationship, friendship.
So him and Billy Nestle. Billy's still around, so we'll have to catch up with Billy and see where Taser's at these days. But shout out to Taser. Hope all's well and that golf game's in good order. But I think we kind of accomplished what we wanted to tonight. Looking forward to
Wait a minute.
A lot
Did
of
you check to see if they were on a different flight?
They're not.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a great time. It's a lot of golf. It's a battle of attrition, but it's really neat who you get to meet at these events. Is what I like. Is like you get to meet family members. Guys are playing with their sons. Guys are playing with their brothers. You've got business partners playing together. Longtime high school buddies and stuff like that. So you meet people from all across the nation, all different walks of life. You just get to meet with these guys, hang out for 9 holes, enjoy some golf, make some really good connections. Like I said, we met Kevin last year. He told us about all the opportunities that the PGA provides, and us being an employer of over 10 Class A PGA professionals, we immediately got on that. So we got a lot of our coaches are now on the PGA Coach link, so you can find our coaches on the PGA Coach link. They were nice enough to do a little article on us and our facility here. So I look forward to reconnecting with Kevin. But yeah, just a lot of great people. people.
Not to mention, they might be members at Butler, like Chris, who then say that they're going to invite you out and you're welcome anytime, and then you might not ever get it. But you could be excited about the option and opportunity, Chris. Shout out to you.
Sure. Aren't we playing with Vic in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, we are fortunate enough to find other access. But I don't know if I wanted him to whoop up on us again.
Yeah, so. But we're excited. We feel good about our opportunity. We want to go put our best foot forward. We're going to enjoy some good beverages, a lot of great food. So the club does a fantastic job, and the staff there is top notch. Like, this is one of the smoothest, most well-run events in terms of like keeping it timely, making sure that there's no issues. Any issues are resolved really quick. As I mentioned before, last year practice round was rained out, and they quickly pivoted and got us a place to hit some golf balls and get warmed up for the tournament to come. But we're going to need to get some rest tonight because it's going to be a long few days. Glad I've got my sauna up and running so we can do some recovery in that.
Yeah, we actually didn't talk about logistics. I'm assuming you got a room for me?
I do have a room for you. We still have to talk about outfits. I think we sent a text last week, but we'll firm those up so we know what we're wearing. At the very least, we're going to win best dressed again. I mean, we have that going for us. So
I would prefer to lose that and win something else.
Well, I'd rather like to win both. So
okay, fair enough.
Because I'm not gonna wear a scrubby outfit just for a better chance of winning.
Well, I hope our listeners enjoyed an episode a little off the beaten path. Stay tuned. We will definitely be keeping, in the next episode, after the event, at some point, we will be updating you, hopefully with some really, really positive news. If not, we're going to have a phenomenal experience regardless. But of course, Tommy and I, we're both extremely competitive. We wouldn't be sitting in the positions that we're in if we weren't. And, hopefully our stars align. And
it'd be really cool to be drinking some old fashions out of our Cristal.
Oh, yeah, the hardware. That's the best part.
That'd
Yeah.
be sweet.
Actually, you know what? That's the last thing I think you should say. Do you remember what we're playing for? What do the winners get?
Crystal trophies.
I heard isn't there a huge golf event?
There is a golf trip.
Not a golf
you
trip?
throw in some extra money and you can win. This year, the golf trip is to Europe or England with 6 championship rounds of golf there. Trip for 4, accommodations, flight, all of it covered. So if you win the overall event, that means winning your flight and the horse race itself. Mm-hmm. You also get a nice little cherry on top with that trip to England. So
Okay. Any cash in addition to that?
there is some cash. Depends who we bet on.
Okay.
We always bet on ourselves. You're not going to bet on yourselves. Who's going to,
Fair enough. All right. Well,
Hey, go get that member guest. Get an invite. Say yes.
absolutely. Look forward to the next 4 days, buddy.
Get best.
A big thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Everything But the Tip podcast. Stay connected with us on all social media platforms by following @SmartGolfFitness. For additional episodes, updates, and exclusive content, check out our website at smartgolffitness.com. Don't forget to show some love, like, share, and subscribe to ensure you never miss out on the latest insights and engaging discussions. Your support means the world to us. Until next time, keep swinging and stay fit.